Hey, it's been a while. I'm back. We're in the Harvester. She's about 12 below zero right now with the wind chill. You're gonna see some vibration. That's I got her in all-wheel drive mode right now, so we got her in all-wheel drive mode, so we're gonna see some vibration on the camera. Nothing I can do about that. Hey Sherry, thanks for tuning in. We just got done fixing the head. You'll see that tomorrow on a video. Didn't get done yet this morning. I'm still driving out to the wood pile. Hi. I got it fixed. So, driving out to the woods. I'll flip you around here in a second and we'll see what we can wreck today. It's about a 15 to 17 acre piece we're working on. I haven't mapped it out 100% to see what we're doing, but all right, I'm gonna flip you around. If you got questions, just ask. All right, I gotta move the camera because I thought I had you in a good enough spot, but the mount is upside down. Sherry, there's probably about a foot of snow or so. Guys, I'm just trying to move the camera around so you guys can get the best view possible. You're gonna have to deal with that little bit of the mount in that one corner. I'm hoping most of this snow melts end of this week. It's gonna be about 40 degrees, so if you missed it in the beginning, there's you're gonna see some vibration today just because I got the differential locked in so that I don't get stuck in the snow we got up here. So this project we are going to we're gonna cut everything and then we're also gonna chip it. So whatever we can't make logs out of is gonna get chipped. Paul, I saw you pop in. Thanks for tuning in. For anybody that wants to know, the hydraulic temp in the machine this morning was negative 4. It took about 2.5 hours to warm this beast up this morning. Cut 2 trees. Broke a couple wires in the head, and so it's taken a little while to get these. This is literally the first group of trees I'm running through. That's why you're going to see that bounce all over the place here. Cutting some yellow popple right now. Yellow popple, ash, cottonwood, that's primarily what we're cutting today. And then we got a lot of brush underneath here too, so. If I don't catch your question, Don't be afraid to ask it a second time. I only kind of watching the screen. I got a lot of stuff going on inside the cab here, so yes, Ted, it is very hard on equipment, very hard on the body as well. Fixing those wires when it was 90 degrees would have taken me 5 or 10 minutes. Took me just over an hour. I was actually wondering if I was going to even be able to do the live because of it. So for anybody that's wondering, we will be, as long as I have cell signal, we should be able to do live streams in the woods here now. Hey Craig, thanks for tuning in. Ted, I wish it was 21 degrees. It's gonna be 38 the end of the week. I got a lot of stuff, outside stuff planned that needs to get done the end of this week. Eventually, Kenny said he might come down and help me. Cut all this big stuff. So if that happens, I might go live with Kenny not knowing I'm going live, just to show you guys how these big ones fall. Yeah, there's a couple of them, Sherry, that are in that far corner where I just came from that are just over 5 foot in diameter. The heat in this cab, I have an external diesel heater that warms the engine coolant, and then also circulates through the cab. So it, I'm about ready to get down to a almost ready to get down to a sweatshirt again and back in the cab here. Dirt Road Landing, how we doing? Been a while. Thanks for tuning in. EW35, thanks for tuning in. So down in this corner, guys, down over here, there's a There's a river that runs down through there. We'll get down there eventually. I want to let that freeze a little bit first, but this sail has got a lot of brush in it. Lots and lots of brush. Mostly cottonwood and ash. A few popple here once in a while, but mostly ash. Or, excuse me, mostly cottonwood. Long, narrow strip runs about 3/4 of a mile. Gringo Pines, thanks for tuning in. I bet it's nice and warm down in Mexico. Oh boy, you're up on top of the mountain up there then. Oh, chunk of brush stuck in the head again. There it comes out. It is still deer season here, so if I happen to see a deer, you guys might see the door come open and you might lose me off the live stream for a minute or two. In weather like this, I've shot more deer out of my cab on my harvester than I have out of a deer stand. BW35, we're on farm ground now, so there's anything can happen. There's a ton of deer tracks. There's a ton of deer tracks up here that weren't here last night when I left, so them deer are hungry, so I'm sure they are they're gonna be in here, whether it's tonight or tomorrow. Pretty sure they're in here. Oh, Bert, I did that already. I just got done fixing it just before I started the live stream. That's a dead stick. Get one or two sticks out of it anyways. Somebody asked where we are. I'm up in northern Wisconsin. Chain's getting hot already. See the smoke and steam coming off the chain. The hot, cold on these chains is hard on it. Oh, do I hate brush? Oh, how I hate brush. Mostly buckthorn in here right now. That's a beautiful stick of aspen right there. Too bad I don't have more. I could make veneer logs out of some of this. BW, I'm going back to your question. I didn't see what it was. This is the trees are a little bit on the small side. We're clearing for farm ground, actually, is what we're doing. Trying to square up and straighten up a field. So that's what we're working on. Once I hit 2,000 subscribers, guys, I'm going to buy another camera that's that will link to my phone, so that I can put you outside, I can put you on the head, I can put you in different spots. And then you guys can tell me where you want it. Where you want, what you want to see, and where you want to see it from. That is a crooked, ugly stick right there. You can see how crooked the top is. Straighten it out, make it go through the chipper easier. And for anybody that wants to know, Log Cabin Jack found this mount for the window. It's a suction cup mount. Works great. He found that for me. But it's great that he did, because works awesome for the live streams. What time of day is everyone's preference for live streams if I'm going to cut in the woods here? William Klein, thanks for tuning in. I will take you guys along to that job we were on last year with Bert and Kenny and Chris, and when we make first entry to see if we're going to fall through the swamp, I will I'll take you guys along and we'll see what happens. If I fall through the swamp, you guys are going to be the first ones to know. We'll take another stick out of that one. Hydraulic oil's warming up. That's up to 100 degrees now. Got a little bit of elm in here. That's what this is right here that we're cutting right now, is some elm. Makes good chips, that's about all it does. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Jim, how's it going? I'm on flat ground now. Not up at Bear Paw anymore. I got tired of sliding around on the ice up there. No, Bert, I am not going to stream at 2 a.m. Nice try. Unless Kenny's out cutting big trees, I'm not going to stream at 2 a.m. Another nice stick of aspen right there. Come on down. Nope, she's rotten. I must have missed something here, guys. You got that right, Jim. Guys, I'm trying to keep up with the comments, trying to not drop a tree on the cab again. And trying to pay attention to what I'm doing, so. Again, if I missed your comments, sorry. Jim, if I knew we were gonna have good weather, I'd tell you to come on over and see all this big cottonwood down in the hole down here? That's what Kenny's gonna have to cut in a couple weeks. The ground is froze if you pack the snow down. If the snow didn't get packed down, you can see I just pulled that stump out. Jim, I understand. Understand completely, Jim. Trying to decide if I want to go north and south today or east and west. I think I'm going to keep heading west for a while. Up. Anybody know what that is? Or want to guess what that is? Yep, exactly. Some people would cry over that, but for me it's just another stick of pulpwood. Ooh, this looks like a river overflow. I think we're gonna skirt the edge of this for right now. I don't know that I want to go down in. I don't know that I want to go down inside there right now. Give it another day or two to freeze. Yeah, he might have to. It's not the first cherry I've cut. I've cut more cherry in the last 2 days out here than I have in the last year and a half. It's not the problem of hitting the buttons, it's fixing everything when it breaks. One of these days I'm thinking I'm going to buy a hot saw. If we're going to keep doing these farm clearings, I'm going to buy a hot saw. Ooh, that's a little soft. No, William, this is the worst of it. There's better wood on the north side. I want to try and get a path through the whole thing so I can skid. So I can skid decent through it. Little apple tree there. So one thing I always thought was interesting with farm ground, you never know what you're going to run into or what you're going to end up cutting. Excuse me. Yeah, you got that right, Jim. Down here, it didn't get nearly as cold as what it did up at Bear Paw. And the Bear Paw, we got a good solid ice road in there. Truck drivers love it, but not here. Today might be a good day to actually take some of this brush and pile it and burn it. Stay warm. Another apple tree here. That fell the wrong way. Make good chipper wood. That's the other thing I hate about the only thing I really hate about farm ground is all the grapevines. You get tangled in everything. Well, thinking we might have blown a hose, guys. Just like the last live we were on. Yep. See it right there? Actually, I don't think we blew a hose, but I think we got a hose that's loose. Looks to just be loose. Well, guys, I'm going to jump out here for a second. Stay tuned. You can watch me fix broken stuff. Freeze my fingers. You won't have any audio. I can turn the radio on for you if you wish. But putting rubber gloves on, which means my hands are going to freeze that much quicker. But I'll try and jump out, fix this quick, and get back with you. Thanks for sticking around. Getting my oily gloves off here. What did I miss? Jeremiah, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I was using a big hammer. Jim, thanks for explaining what was going on there. This looks like a pretty nice swat right through here. Missed the cab. Millwood, I agree. I would much rather go for a burn on a UTV than snowmobile. It's way warmer. It is a little bit dustier, but Sherry, maybe we can arrange that when you come up to Bear Paw. If they got the trails open, maybe I'll see what I can do if I can arrange that. Anyone want to guess what this is? No, it's not ash. I'll see if I can get how close I can get it to the window. Doesn't have the color like it should. Another chunk of box elder. Another apple tree, destined for the chipper. Jim, every time the camera jumps, I feel every bump, every move. You know that, but I got it mounted to my front door window is where it's mounted with a suction cup, so. For anybody that's wondering, we dropped 26 degrees in hydraulic temp in the time it took me to tighten up that hose. That wasn't where I wanted them. Right across the brush pile. Jim, you know, I know the skidder operator, and he doesn't like messy piles. He's probably gonna fire me. Oh, we got, oh, I barber chaired that one and snapped it off. Been a long time since I did that. Jim, I might actually teach Kenny how to run the skidder. Then he's gonna want really nice piles. No, I'll let him skid brush. Right. Exactly, Jim. He'll complain because it's too cold outside. He'll complain because it's too hot in the cab. You know exactly how it is. Another stick of box elder. Dead ash. More dead ash. Oh, that one's got a barber chair because it's rotten. Should clean, there we go. Started cleaned up a little bit there. Not great, but yeah, I remember the days of running an iron mule too. That's how I started. I don't ever want to go back to those days on a day like today. I don't know if you guys can hear the beeping that keeps going on. That's my counter telling me, that's my counter in the head telling me what the right length is. Yep, you got her, buddy. You got her. Make sure your stumps were cut low. Otherwise, as long as you were on flat ground, you were okay. You would climb them. But on the side of a hill, I rolled an iron mule once in my life. Nice part was they were small enough you could use the 440 cable skidder and flop them right on her, right back up. Let them sit an hour or two and go back to work. Another pretty tree for Chris. Rolling over the stumps. Yeah, that's about it, Jim. Some of this buckthorn out here is big enough to make pulp sticks out of it. There's a deer bed right there. I wonder which way that deer went. Me either, Jim. I've never burnt it. Imagine that, and I don't know if you guys can see this, just to the right side of the head, there's a fairly fresh buck rub that's not a real big one, but on that. On that tree right there, there's a buck rub. put that pile there, it's in the way. Should have been out of the way a little bit, but. Get him! Woodpecker house has got to go. Sorry, woodpeckers. Jim, I'm actually kind of surprised down here that the deer aren't in here as heavier than, although I've only been in here for 2 or 3 days. I got a feeling tomorrow morning they'll be in here pretty heavy. It all depends, Mark, how good of a mechanic you are, really is what it amounts to. And are you talking firewood processor? I would assume you're talking firewood processor. Really depends how good of a mechanic are you, how much money do you want to spend, and you know, if you're going to call somebody every time you've got a problem, then you probably don't want a processor. They're a lot of maintenance, no matter what you have. If you're a halfway decent mechanic, I would say buy something older that you don't have to hook a computer up to. That's why I run the stuff that I do, because most of it I don't have to hook a computer up to it to figure out what's wrong with it. The more electronics you got, the more things that can go wrong that you can't fix. Yeah, Jim, typically, I mean, I've had them chasing tops off the harvester already. But that was a year I was way down in the swamp cutting soft maple that was budding out, and they were chasing the tops back to the harvester. I'd bring the iron mule in, they'd jump 20, 30 feet off the road. As soon as I went through, they were back on the skid road trying to walk through the snow that I had packed down. Yeah, that chain's starting to get dull. That's a resharpen, so use it till it breaks or till I hit a rock or something with it. Then it just gets thrown out. Jim, are you talking about a 230 or 235 Timberjack? Those were good machines. I almost bought one that was a grapple cable combo, and I'm still kicking myself to this day that I didn't buy it. Mark, all I can say is, as far as a logging processor goes, if you're mechanically inclined, buy something older. It all depends how many hours you're going to put on it. You can expect with a harvester to have probably a $20,000 learning curve, as they say, between hoses and wires and all kinds of stuff like that. The 133 Fabtex, there's a lot of them out there. You know, I would just be careful about how many hours are on it. That's the biggest thing. You know, frame hours versus engine hours. It's going to get expensive. You're going to have leaks. You're going to have, you're going to have leaks. You're going to have broken hoses. But if you're mechanically inclined, that's just normal wear and tear, as I say. The jet fit bar is nice. It just depends how much you're going to use it. I went from a fixed head to a dangle head. There was a huge learning curve to figure out how to get this dangle head to work. But I wouldn't go back to a fixed head if I had my chance. If you're doing a lot of swamps, I would strongly suggest looking at a track machine. The wheeled machines are very, very heavy. If you're doing a lot of swamps, I would look at a track machine to get the flotation out of it. Now we're getting into some nice, a little bit nicer stuff anyways. Mark, where are you from? Okay. Mark, if you send me an email, Sarah, are you still in here? If you are, can you put my email down in the comments, please? Or Jim, or anybody that has my email. Mark, if you send me an email, I can send you over a couple guys that got. There's a guy in Anago I know pretty well that takes real good care of his equipment. That's always got 133s or 153s to sell. He's a pretty big operator, so if he sells one, he goes and buys a 133 or 153, or he'll go buy another 50. The 501s are basically the same units. Mark, what do you plan on cutting with your harvester? Are you doing a lot of select cuts? Or are you doing clear cuts? You doing aspen clear cuts? What are you doing? thought about it. But I see my target. I see my target. You guys are going to get to watch some smash and crash here pretty quick. About a dozen or so more trees. Then there's a pretty good chance I could wreck some stuff. Top is hung up. Oop. Just wait for it, guys. There it is. That's what happens when the tops get hung up. I don't know if you can see that one snapped off down over there. Trying to rip it off the rest of the way and process it. Nope. Not gonna happen. Whoa, there we go. I really hope it doesn't snow anytime soon. because it's going to be Wednesday or Thursday before I get this wood picked up. Again, the tops got hung up, the next tree comes down. She's getting soft in here too. It's not supposed to get above 0 today, William, so I'm streaming from my phone, so I couldn't Can't exactly tell you what the temp is right now. My hydraulic temp is 117 degrees. My engine's at 180. But the outside temp, I don't know what that is off the top of my head. One more tree, guys, and then we got big wood to cut. At least as big as what I can handle with the harvester. Typically a little bit that's probably about as big as I want to cut with this harvester. About 80 foot tall. Put some back pressure on it and cut away. Let her go. Didn't exactly go where I wanted it to, but close enough. Change the computer. I got a specialty market for this stuff, guys, so you're gonna see some long stuff come out now. Sorry about the sun. Whoa! See if I can break that one off of there. There we go. For anyone that's wondering, this is all cottonwood. Mark, send me an email. Like I said, if you go to Logger Jason on YouTube, all the info is there. I can put you in touch with a couple guys. I think a 133 would fit your needs really well. Don't buy a $40,000 133 because they're wore out. You're gonna probably have to spend $75,000 or $80,000. That's about as big a tree as I want to cut. And it's hung up. Does a nice job of knocking the brush down for me though. Well guys, and with that, I'm gonna cut you loose. I'm gonna go to lunch. It's a couple hours past. Yeah, it's almost 2 o'clock, so I'm gonna go to lunch. Come back, cut for a couple hours. Come back, cut for a couple more hours, and call it a day. So appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Look for more live streams from the woods as the weather's getting colder. I'm working closer to where I have good cell reception. Never know what you'll see. Maybe you'll even catch Kenny on a live stream or two without him knowing about it. So with that, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one.